We're joined by two awesome guests. They're going to talk some more about config, Brad and Isaiah. So, Brad, how about you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey, everybody. Brad Gilman. I'm a principal specialist here at AWS on the Cloud Ops and represent AWS Config and AWS CloudTrail.
And we're also joined by Isaiah. So, how about you
Oh,
introduce yourself?
hello, everybody. Isaiah Salinas. I'm a specialist solution architect. Work together on the cloud operation team and specialize in config.
I'd say
Awesome.
that you need no introduction, but we kind of have to do it at this point. But glad to be talking shop with you gents again. I'll say it was about 4 or 5 months ago we last talked, and I want to really understand what have we been up to. I have an idea of what it is that we're going to be talking about. I would love to hear more about what you've been seeing from customers and partners in this space these days.
Yeah. So really, what we've been seeing, back the last time we talked, it probably reinforced, but we had launched a feature that was allowing customers to exclude certain resource types to kind of reduce the noise. And one of the things that we heard from customers is that they were looking for more tunables. They want some more levers they can pull. And so what we're doing is trying to do that now. And so there's workloads out there that are in the cloud that are generating just excess numbers of configuration items. And so what we're launching, actually we launched, I guess, yesterday now, is a new feature that is called AWS Config Periodic Recording. And what it's going to do is it's going to allow our customers to give them the ability to capture just the latest configuration changes of their resources over a fixed period of time. And so what this does is it's reducing the number of overall changes that are captured. And by using this type of recording, you're going to gain flexibility into recording changes of your resources at a lower frequency, which is going to, number one, reduce costs to the number of configuration items that you're recording. And it's going to provide you with this regular cadence of updates for compliance and auditing purposes. And so, now what's going to happen is with periodic, we're only going to deliver the last status of a resource instead of all of the changes that are occurring over that period of time. And from the beginning right now, that period of time will be a 24-hour window. One thing I really do want to make sure everyone is aware of, though, is that this is for the workloads where you're not needing to know what launched in that time period, just what's run the entire time. So the example here is that let's say you spin up a ton of EC2 and you have EC2 as the instances as periodic recording. You're only going to see the ones that launched or that have been launched the entire day. So let's say you spin up 100, but they're all gone before that 24-hour period ends up. You're not going to have any visibility into that. So that's the one caveat there that I do want the crowd to be aware of.
Yeah. I think AWS Config is an excellent tool for change management or tracking of changes. Can you talk a little bit about why customers need to kind of track the changes over time for their cloud infrastructure?
Yeah, I mean, in general, this is a service that it acts as a CMDB. It's going to give you those changes, and then it's also the kind of the platform of which that we're doing our auditing services live on top of. Things like Security Hub is going to live on top of config, and so we have to be able to track these changes in order for those other services to be able to run effectively. And so now we're just giving customers that extra tunable lever to be able to say, I really don't care about all the changes. Just give me a snapshot every 24 hours. And so this will kind of line up with customers that maybe have environments where they don't need all those changes. Like say the environment's really locked down and they only want to know of the outliers. This will be great for them.
Yeah, I could definitely see that in use in high compliance environments. Even stuff like a high touch customer POC. We need to understand. We know what the basis is going to be deployed, and that's all we care. We care about anything that's an outlier, anything that shouldn't be there. We want to know on it immediately, or we want to know the history of it. I can see it. Question, and of course, this is just coming from rummaging around in the back of my brain. We talk a lot about config and how we want to be and historically what we want to track because it may or may not have a cost to do it. Can you help us understand if a customer, if they fit these criteria, can they leverage config, bring that cost down?
Yeah, so actually, I think if anything, can we do a quick demo kind of showing you how customers can see what the top items
Yeah,
are and then how they can kind of bring it down?
yeah, that'd
Isaiah?
be awesome.
Yeah, so let me walk through a demo on how you can actually do that utilizing the CloudWatch metrics that Config delivers. When you have your AWS Config Recorder enabled and running, it will deliver metrics to CloudWatch. And what you can do under CloudWatch is you can create a dashboard to give a visualization of what your top 10 resource types that are generating the highest volume of configuration items. So I'll go ahead and show you what that's going to look like. So I'm going to go to my dashboards, and I have one already created that will show us what this looks like. So within this dashboard, I'm showing the top 10 resource types. And this dashboard is utilizing a metric max formula that is available to those who would like to get this set up. It's in our blog. It'll highlight how to set up this metric math formula to display this visualization. Once you have it set up, then you'll get your top 10 resources. This will help you identify which resource types have the highest volumes of configuration items. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at a month span. So I'm going to go ahead and look at 4 weeks. And in here, I see my highest resource type that's generating the highest volume of configuration items is one that's called resource compliance. And then my second one is called EC2 instance. And then third one leading up is my SSM association compliance. So this is basically going to help us leverage to see which resource types I want to exclude and which resource types perhaps I may not need a continuous recording of those resource types, but I could probably use a daily recording frequency. So based on this visualization chart, I could then go back into config and we'll look at the settings within our recorder and see how we can set up the various options to exclude, or if I want to set up specific resource types to be daily, I can set that up also as well. So I'm going to go to the settings of the AWS config section and going to go ahead and click on edit on my recorder. And in the recorder, you're going to be presented with a recording strategy. And so we now have 2 types of recording strategies. We have one that's called all resource types with customizable overrides. This is going to allow you to then add that override to either be exclusions, or if you want to only set a resource type to be daily or continuous, you can set that via overrides. The other option is record specific resource type. This is where you're specifying specifically resource types and what type of recording frequency they're going to be using. So in this example here, I'm going to have it set to all resource types with customizable overrides. And you're going to have a recording frequency default. This is what you're going to be utilizing to record your resource types in a default recording frequency. So by default, it's selected for you to be continuous recording. This is going to give you the tracking of changes whenever they occur within your account or where you're recording your resource types. But you also have the option to select your default type to be a recording frequency of daily. So what that's going to do within a 24-hour window, it's only going to daily record all your resource types and generate one CI. So for this example, we're going to use continuous because this is one that's going to give me the best tracking of all my resource types. But if there are specific resource types that I want to override those changes, this is where we're going to use the override settings. And so from my example on my CloudWatch visualization dashboard, I have those three resource types that I highlighted. So for example, the resource compliance, let me go ahead and type in here, compliance. So the config resource compliance, I'm going to go ahead and choose this one to be exclude. I don't want to record this. And then the other ones, for example, the instances, the EC2 instance, I'm going to go and select that. And that's going to be a resource type. Perhaps I may not need to continuously record it. For compliance reasons, I may just want to go ahead and choose that to be a daily recording, since I will need one capture of that resource type at a 24-hour period. So I'm going to go ahead and set that to daily. And then my next one in my CloudWatch metrics dashboard was the SSM association compliance one. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one and also set that to daily. Once you have your overrides set up to as far as which one you want to exclude, which ones you want to set to daily, you can then just go ahead at the bottom, click Save. And that's going to update your AWS Config Recorder. And then from then, it's then going to basically set up when it's going to do a schedule of those daily recordings. So within the next 24-hour period, you should then get a recording, a generating of a configuration item for those resource types. And that's only, like Brad mentioned, that's only if the configuration state has changed since the last capture of that configuration item. If there wasn't any changes, then it won't capture a new configuration item. And what's nice is that those configuration items that are set to be daily also add 2 additional properties to the actual configuration item. So in Advanced Query, I have a query that I set up that will query and display to me all the configuration, the resource types that I currently have set up to be recording frequency of daily. So I'm going to go ahead and run that advanced query. And in here, I see my instances, my volumes. So if I go ahead and click on one of these instances, I'm going to go ahead and show you what that 2 additional properties will look like in the JSON of the configuration item. So we scroll to the very bottom. So in the very bottom, you're going to see 2 additional properties that are added. You're going to have one that's going to be called recording frequency, and it's going to be set to daily. This is only going to add on resource types that are set to recording frequency of daily. And then it's also going to give you when that configuration item delivery time was actually delivered, and it gives you that timestamp. So with this is going to help you then enable AWS Config, configure it, the config recorder, to basically identify which resource types you want to exclude and which resource types perhaps you want to set as a daily frequency. But what's also is available with the periodic recording, and I could show you this. I'm going to go ahead and switch to my US West 2 region, is that it's also available that you can go ahead and set up this new feature within AWS Config Recorder via CloudFormation. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what a sample template would look like if you were to enable your config recorder via CloudFormation. So I'm going to go into CloudFormation. I'm going to go ahead and show you one of my templates that I already have stored. So we go to the designer, and I'll load the templates. Go ahead and open it, and I'm going to go ahead and already have this as a template file. Here it is, periodic recording. And so just want to highlight some of the different properties in there and match these up to what we saw in the console. So in the CloudFormation template, I have my resource type for configuration recorder. And then in here, this section right here is where I'm defining which resource types I want to exclude in the AWS Config Recorder. So that's similar to what we saw in the console, where I selected like the resource compliance resource type and set that to be excluded. And then additionally, under the recording mode of your CloudFormation template, this is where then you can set your recording frequency, the defaults for this, and we have it set to continuous in the CloudFormation template. But then you have another property where you can optionally put in different recording mode overrides. And this is where you can then define specific resource types that will have a daily recording frequency, and then you specify your resource types within there. So with this, I can then go ahead and deploy the templates. So I'll go ahead and deploy this. I'll go ahead and click next, and then I'll go ahead and give it a default name of AWS Config Recorder. Going next, and then we'll go ahead and very end. So this is going to go ahead and deploy that template that already has outlined the AWS Config Recorder settings to exclude the IAM resources, which those IAM resources that I had highlighted were the global resources for IAM. So that's one thing you would want to do is if you want to exclude those, you would then highlight those features within the exclusion portion. And then also in the template, I also specified some additional overrides to be daily recording. So let's go and see our template. It has completed. So I go back to config. I should then see those changes in my config recorder. So we look at the config recorder, and the template did exactly what it was supposed to do. It's excluding the IAM resources, and then optionally setting up 2 different additional overrides for EC2 volume, EC2 instance to be daily recording. So this gives you an example how you can utilize CloudWatch metrics to get a visualization of your top 10 resource types with generating the highest volume of configuration items. Based on that, to help you determine how you want to set up your AWS config recorder to utilize exclusion of resource types, or also to set up specific overrides to be daily recording as well.
Yeah. So in your CloudFormation template, can you define more than one recorder in a template to have different situations that you want to target?
Yeah, so right now AWS Config only supports one config recorder and one delivery channel. So within that config recorder, you can optionally set up different overrides. So you have a maximum of, I believe it says in the recorder here, you have 98, about 100 override settings, and you also have exclusion. So it'll show the defaults for you as far as your limits, as far as how many you could set in there.
Awesome.
Yeah, gotta say this is pretty darn impressive. I can very quickly see, you know, large customer, even just an SMB size customer, taking use of this, keeping the spend down, and really efficiently. Want to implicitly or interested in seeing as a bit of a deviation. Of course, the more you get, the more attractive. Really hone in on, as you mentioned before, cutting out the noise and hyper focusing on things that are changing, that are deviating from what the standard is. You can not only lower that footprint, but you can also be hypersensitive to knowing exactly what's going on within your estate in a immutable way. I got to say, this is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Very cool.
we're really thinking a lot of customers are going to love this. Just giving them these extra levers, you know, that's the key here. Customers want the ability to customize what they're doing, and you know, with these last 2 launches now, I think we're really giving them all the levers to hopefully reduce the noise, and in the end also reduce the overall expense that they've got. And you know, hoping customers will find some great use out of this. And we've got multiple sessions that will be showing this off and talking about this here at reInvent.
Awesome, and
Yep.
that's exactly what I was going to ask. If you had something as such as a call to action, but sounds like you jumped that one before I could.
Yeah. And I assume you have a blog and some documentation that customers can go to find out about this new feature?
Yes,
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah, we do have a blog. It was so we have it on our blog channel. I believe also we'd be posting on the chat too as well, where they can go in and have access to it.